This video is going to explain the portfolio, which is the major assignment in the course. What goes in your portfolio? All three projects you create will be moved to your portfolio or created directly within your portfolio. These projects will also be accompanied by a project reflection, which will be explained in the next slide. You'll also have to create media labs in this course, and there's another video that explains these labs in depth, so make sure to watch that as well. Lastly, you'll write reflections of the course outcomes, and these will be created directly in your portfolio. When you go to turn in your projects, you'll give your instructor the URL to your portfolio. Your instructor will dictate which software you can use, such as Google Sites, Weebly, or some other website creator. After creating each project in this class, you'll have to write a reflection of the choices you made, such as choices of audience and purpose, and how those choices impacted the medium you chose for delivering your message. For each assignment, your instructor has included questions that will guide this project reflection, so make sure to look at each major writing assignment prompt for guidance. Not only will you have to write project reflections that account for these choices, but you'll also need to write reflections about the student learning outcomes for first-year writing, which are listed in the portfolio assignment sheet in your course. For instance, when you create your Project 1, you'll need to turn in a project reflection and an outcome reflection. In this outcome reflection, you'll choose 3 to 4 outcomes you feel you've learned or worked toward when creating that specific project. For example, in Project 1 in this course, which is the memoir, you might feel like you learned outcomes A, E, and G, and you'll want to write a paragraph within each of these outcome spaces in your portfolio, reflecting how Project 1 helped you learn each outcome individually. Then for Project 2, you'll choose 3 to 4 more different outcomes and write a reflection for each of those. And the same goes for Project 3. The idea is, by the end of the course, you'll have written about your learning process in each of these outcome areas. In the last week of the course, you'll come back to these outcome areas and revise, adding to the paragraphs you've already written, continuing to talk through what you've learned as the course progressed. In these outcome reflections, you'll want to include evidence of your learning. Evidence can come in the form of anything you've learned in the class. We want you to draw from discussion board postings, things your peers have said in peer review, your instructor feedback, individual project reflections, the readings from Writing Today, videos of commercial and popular culture, basically anything that you feel helped you learn the outcomes. And you'll want to not only paraphrase what you've learned, but pull direct quotes from these sources too. Think of the portfolio as a research paper making an argument. Instead of using outside sources to support your ideas, you're using things you've done in the class or feedback you've received from various sources to support the argument that you've actually learned these outcomes. Lastly, throughout the course, you'll be asked to participate in revision for each project. You'll go through peer review, instructional assistant review, and instructor review as the life cycle for each project. There's a video in the course regarding this feedback cycle, so make sure to watch that carefully. After you receive feedback from your instructor for each project, you'll want to make final revisions to that project before moving the more polished draft to the portfolio. When it comes time to turn in your portfolio, you'll want to create a home page where you address those revisions. In the home page, you'll not only want to tell your instructor about yourself, but more importantly, you'll want to highlight what revisions were made for each project and how they improved the paper. Think about your rhetorical choices here. How did the revisions benefit your audience? What about the purpose of the document? Did you change the medium, and if so, why? How did the revisions improve the draft overall? For this specific class, we're also going to want to know how the choices of software impacted your composing process of all 3 projects. So you'll want to reflect on the use of the media labs in the course as well. See your portfolio assignment sheet for more information. In your home page, you'll also want to talk through the revisionary process and the lessons you learned in class and how you feel they'll be relevant for the future. You can create a short Jing video that walks your instructor through the revisions you made and why, but I would suggest writing something additional in the home page space as well regarding your learning. If any of this is confusing, see the supplemental portfolio assignment sheet that goes with this video.